A found footage horror, directed by M. Night Shyamalan, and yet it's the scariest film of the year. What a twist! M. Night Shyamalan is a weird director. His first few films like The Sixth Sense and Unbreakable were lauded as masterpieces on their release, and for a while he was Hollywood's hottest property, and he even got offered Harry Potter to direct. But after he made The Village, people began to think that he might suck, and definitely by the time The Happening came out, people were booing his name when it came up at the credits. In recent years, he's made a little bit of a comeback. He directed the first episode of Wayward Pines at the start of this year, and it was actually really good. He's also got another film coming out with Bruce Willis relatively soon. But right now we have The Visit, a found footage, or more accurately mockumentary horror that's been making quite a bit of buzz. The Visit follows teens Rebecca and Tyler as they visit their grandparents for the first time. After a massive falling out when their mother was young, she cuts off contact with the grandparents, and they've only just gotten back in touch. After arriving, it soon becomes apparent that there's something wrong. They aren't allowed in the basement, bedtime is a strict 9:30, and both Nana and Pop Pop are paranoid and forgetful. This much is clear from the trailer, but what may come as a surprise is that the whole film is presented as a documentary constructed by Rebecca, as a way of working through some of the difficult things that have been going on with her family recently. Her mum's kind of in a bit of a state because their dad left a few years before, and now her kid brother has developed some compulsive behaviours around cleanliness as a result of that. By framing the movie as documentary instead of found footage, Shyamalan is able to inject some actual cinema into it. He stuck around for a Q&A after my screening, and one of the things that he pointed out was that found footage is so far removed from cinema that it can be a little bit difficult to tell a story. At least with the documentary aspect of the thing, it makes sense that the film at least looks like a film, that it's a story being told, even if it is by one of the characters ostensibly instead of the filmmakers. I always found Shyamalan's films to be a little bit full of themselves, always taking themselves too seriously. Maybe that's why they were so good for parody. I mean, after all, look at Mark Wahlberg here talking to a fake plant in The Happening. But in The Visit, Shyamalan shows a great gift for humour, and some of the biggest laughs come out just after some of the biggest scares, as a way of deflating the tension and getting the audience to build themselves up again. And the film is not short on scares. I watch horror films all the time, and I find myself inured to the scary aspects of these films quite frequently. That said, this film almost made me shit myself several times. And I'm not just talking about jump scares. There are some really well constructed tension sequences in here. For instance, at one point Rebecca and Tyler are playing hide and seek in a crawl space under the house, only to be suddenly pursued by a scuttling something. The whole audience was on tenterhooks the whole time, just waiting for something to happen, and at the end of the sequence, which is not the ending you'd expect, there was a breath of relief, but then a lot of nervous laughter, as in, what's next? These moments wouldn't work without a good cast, and while the children are capable unknowns, it's Nana and Pop Pop who deserve the most praise. Deanna Dunnigan, who plays Nana, is actually quite well known on the stage in America. She won a Tony last year for August Osage County. And the best thing about her performance is that no matter what she's doing in a scene, she always has this kind of clear logic behind her eyes. I mean, granted, it's very different to anyone else's, but it's a clear logic and it helps ground those actions. Shyamalan, again, pinpointed it in the Q&A afterwards. He was talking about general ideas around what could make a horror good or bad, and he pointed out that horror just isn't scary if we know it's an actor who's trying to scare us. But if they're a very good actor, they can inhabit the headspace of that character and help us understand something very different going on in their head, which makes the whole thing much more terrifying, much more alien. I don't want to go any further into the film because I don't want to spoil it for you. So all I can say is take some time out of your day and watch The Visit. That's it from me, folks. If you liked the video, don't forget to use the fun button down there to gauge your opinion about it. Don't forget to use the comment box to describe your feelings around the video, and don't forget to press the subscribe button to get a hold of the next one when it comes out. Have a nice day. See you later.